Going on, guys? Connor on Shane, we're back. Gonna be bringing you guys, some stuff that's been going on in the market recently, just brand new things that have been happening. And it's kind of funny actually. Just looking at my feed real quick, we got a couple things too. So Nifty Island has been blowing up my feed over the last couple days. So this is like a community. I think it's like a play to airdrop type game, but a bunch of different NFT communities, are kind of included in this game. And honestly, I haven't looked into what the game actually is, but we got a ton, like I said, a ton of different projects from Pudgy Penguins, Seals, and 50 more. I haven't done too much research, but I've seen this on my feed a lot. But this looks like it's been pretty hyped. So Nifty Island's out, open beta, free to play. I haven't played this. Um, oh yeah, that's what it is too. Building your own island and stuff. Yeah, so this is what they got included right now. A ton of ETH communities. I wonder if they're gonna add any sort of ordinals, which that would be pretty cool to see, or if they already have them, but I don't think they do. But Nifty Island's been going off, and another one too has been Pal World. And I never heard of this project. I mean, it's technically not really a project. It's just a game. I don't think they're crypto related at all, but they've just finally launched, and they look like they're kind of like a Pokemon, you know, I don't want to say a revamp or something like that, but they look similar to Pokemon. And they got all these cute characters, and it's basically like a big PvE slash PvP shooter game with these. But there's been a ton of backlash against, just how these characters look like Pokemon. And again, I feel like I don't know if that's mainly in crypto right now. On crypto Twitter, a lot of people are claiming this, or if this is just all over, or like outside, my crypto bubble here. But again, we've seen so much FUD in the market for everything, even in ordinals. A ton of ordinals, mints, and stuff have been fudded like crazy, only for them to just drop in price and then like start skyrocketing. It's like I feel like everything just has FUD, but everything that has had some FUD to it has broken right through the FUD and just started to moon. And obviously, this again, I don't think it's crypto related, but FUD. I think FUD is a great way for attention now. Obviously, this team here, they've been building for a long time. I think multiple years they've actually been working to deliver this game here. It's finally out, but right, the backlash is just nuts, and I can understand it though, but at the same time, it's usually that's a huge way to garner some attention, is gonna be through all the FUD that happens. Another thing too, which is actually wild, is the Ape Terminal. There's someone that just came out. No, I just saw it too. So shout out to Tombheads. I follow this guy very closely for certain things. But right here, someone came out talking about, like, this was the Satoshi VM. That, I guess, the recent drop that they had, or the launch that this project had. But I guess the person I considered a friend and ate dinner with a week ago has lied to my face, betrayed me, and scammed me. Several IDOs and the crypto community. The Ape Terminal has scammed all of the IDO launches on their platform. 200,000 wallets applied for the IDO, which was nuts, guys. Seeing that the Savum ticker or Satoshi VM, watching that launch, like the amount of engagement too that the Ape Terminal got on that, it's like millions of views, hundreds of thousands of people that wanted to get this allocation. 200,000 wallets applied for the IDOs. 10 winners got chosen per IDO. All of the winners were the Ape Terminal team. On top of that, it took 25%. So that's what I don't understand. I don't know how many. Well, one, I don't know how many people actually win. I guess this raffle. Like, I don't know how many individual, whether it's wallets or people, actually win per IDO. But IDOs and 10 winners got chosen per IDO. I don't know if he's saying, in total, every IDO that the Ape Terminal has, it's only 10 winners get chosen, or he's saying only 10 winners out of the whatever total were picked. that were not part of the Ape Terminal team. So that's something I'm just not too sure of, but all the winners were the Ape Terminal team. On top of that, they took a 25% fee that they also kept. I introduced the Ape Terminal to the Satoshi VM team, but sadly, it looks like it was impossible to trust them doing a fair sale. So obviously, like this has kind of just shook up a lot of people, because I've seen the talk about the Ape Terminal for weeks now, saying like how hyped this launch pad was, and it is like, the numbers and the facts and the engagement, like you can't deny how insane this project would have been. But it's good that this right here, feeling for you, but kudos for coming out and being transparent at the earliest time. And that's kind of key and important too, because if they continue to do this, the team is basically scamming. If this is true, I'm never going to be one to just straight up call something out unless I have facts and something to really back that. But again, this is someone's claim, who I guess is on the team of the Satoshi VM. But bottom line, like that's definitely throwing a huge wrench at Ape Terminal. And I hope a lot of people catch on to this if this is true, because it's kind of ridiculous. Like, yeah, like I swear, trust and transparency in this space is so important. And this is why I don't understand, like, so many of these new projects to whatever it is. I don't care if it's a launch pad, a new AI project, to whatever it is. It's like, transparency is so key, especially even for, teams to be doxxed or even semi-doxxed on Twitter. It's like there's so many little things about like the randomness of projects when they have, minimal details. And I'm not saying this one specifically doesn't have any details or anything, but it goes to show you how important safety and transparency is. It's because anything can happen. It's hard to trust people in this space. And this is why I've said in previous videos, no matter what happens, no matter who you work with, whether you're trying to trade an NFT, swap coins, like, make sure you have the proper safety precautions for yourself to just, bottom line, cover your ass and cover your own wallet so no one can get access to you or your funds like that. It's so important. But anyways, that's kind of just what's been going on that I've seen in the market. And obviously, I dropped a video on the RSICs. Those have been continuously going up. From the video, the floor was at 0.25 Bitcoin, and right now it's at 0.05. So they're continuously just starting to stack. And personally, I don't know where they're going to be going. I think because of the hype that runes have, and because there's still about a month of time before any real finished development for runes are coming out, I think the hype, or this is like the perfect mixture of hype and just gradually stacking runes, because again, the speculation is the craziest part about it, and that's why it holds up so well. And that's why I honestly think it's going to continue to go way higher over the next few weeks. I think especially too once it comes up to the runes launch, they're going to start going up, probably pretty hard. And also, yeah, puppets too have been going up like crazy. But yeah, that's just a little bit about the market too. I got TradingView up here too. So yeah, Bitcoin also, it's holding 39,866, and like I said in many videos, guys, I still do believe that this is not, I don't think the bottom here is in. And like I said before, if you guys have not seen other videos of me talking about this, I trust the RSI very heavily when it comes to high time frame moves, especially for Bitcoin. And one of the main things that I look for to really find a bottom is when you're on a high time frame. One of the main things I look for is I want to wait for this RSI to get very oversold, because right now, it's getting on the lower end, but at the same time, it's still kind of in that channel in the middle of everything. Because like when we see here, obviously this is a huge dump of a wick right here, but this kind of did signify the bottom of like this, this general part of the cycle, this part of the trend here. Because this is some bullish divergence. We have this here, this level here, but then it dumped even harder. But what is price doing? Price didn't do that. It didn't go here, and price didn't come down here. No, price actually held up. It held up very strong. Well, I was gonna say it's not an up, only like that. But price held very flat line here. It did not dump like crazy. But the RSI is making it seem like, oh, it's continuing to dump. But this is where the bottom was signaled, in my opinion, for this area here. Because this was very oversold all the way down to what? Around 19. When you're seeing that at 19 on a daily chart, like that's got to be some sort of bottom, in my opinion. But I think here, this is still kind of what we're waiting for. That's what the RSI does. It's not going to just chop around in the middle, a whole cycle. At times it's going to hit very overextended periods. At times it's going to hit very oversold periods. It's how, things work. Like even here though, yeah, I mean at times it didn't really get too overextended except, this major crash, middle of 2022. Another one too kind of came into it. But obviously, as you can see here, the upside was minimal because there really was an upside when you're, going straight into the depths of a bear market. Like you're not going to see insane oversold prices here until, price starts to reverse. And that's where you see something like this here, very overbought, had to come back down at some point, which this was a very quick push. Came back down and now it's been chilling. And this came to very oversold, in which, in my opinion, signals that, if it's oversold, it's probably going to start moving back up again. But like I said here, I think that this is still got to come into this area here. Even if it goes to like 25, 26, just a little bit, I think it's got to be oversold. That's just part of one of my trading rules when I look at these markets. If I can see this hit down here, that's going to be one huge indicator to really tell that, this might actually be the bottom. Another thing that I look at very often is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. This is something that if you guys aren't familiar with, you definitely should, because this is actually a good way to predict when to be getting into the market and or when to be getting out. Oftentimes when you see this meter way over here, way in the dark orange to the red, that's usually a key indicator to get in. I wish there was like previous data where you can see like different months back on what this was, and usually, like what I know for a fact, because I watch this fairly often. Where is TradingView? Well, when this is in the green, it's going to be maybe in between 60, 70, 80, upwards of even 90 on that scale. We were sitting pretty on that right over here, somewhere around here. This was sitting at 70, 80, upwards of like 85 at one point. Somewhere in this area. But right now it's back down to neutral, and I think we still need one more leg to come down. Whether it does just slowly trickle down, or maybe this tries to push up again to something like this, maybe a double bottom. Even just some consolidation, and it somewhat finds a bottom, like, I don't think the bottom's in here. It's not just gonna start going like this. It won't look right from a chart perspective. Even though looking at a chart, it looks like literal, random lines going ridiculous. But like I'm saying, that's my opinion based on the RSI. And that's what I'm waiting for. Bottom line is some sort of oversold price action to really indicate that, hey, this is the bottom. And especially when market sentiment shifts, when everyone is super fearful and they're like, oh my God, I actually think this really might be the end of Bitcoin. Usually this is going to be in like 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there. That's going to be a huge time to get in the market. So still what I'm waiting for, but a lot of projects right now are still sitting at beautiful entry levels. I'm not going to pull up many, but IXS, still one of my top projects for the entire bull run is IX swap. That one it came down a little bit, but I still want to see that come back down a little more. Mog chart, it actually looks like it's starting to crack a little bit. But yeah, Mog, everyone's just waiting on Mog. This is just inevitable for this to eventually rise. Hit a few hundred million. It's the next major leg up. Yeah, Ori Chain 2 is looking really solid. But even for Ori Chain, I would not be surprised to see it come back down to like even around 550. But I think even here could be a solid DCA. If you guys have some sideline, like don't be afraid to throw a little in if you can withstand more downside potentially. You know, because for me, I know in certain altcoins, like I'm very by the books. Like I want to get the best dip and the best entry possible. But like honestly, over the last few months, even me trying to wait for that big dip has made me miss out on many different coins, many X's. So a lot of times, again, I'm by the books with that. I love to see projects hit really big dips because once they do, that's when I go all in on certain projects. But because to me, when I see a small dip, like very small dips, to me I question it because there's always a potential for it to pull something like this. It tries again and then it continues down, before it really finds a bottom. And I'm very particular with certain things like that, but what I'm trying to say is you don't really need to be when you're in some sort of market like this. I think that just buying really good dips, anywhere in between 40, 50, 60% dips, anywhere across the board in certain narratives, certain coins that you believe in, I think will be a very good move long term from here. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go through too many coins here, but I'm going to be dropping a bunch of videos, this week, talking about new coins, new projects, getting into new narratives, more stuff like that, just based on, some research over the last few days, few weeks. So just be on the lookout for that stuff, guys. And again, don't be afraid to start DCAing on these dips. But again, just keep in mind, Bitcoin, in my opinion, more than likely still has some downside. But again, if you're just safely throwing little chunks here and there, and then if it continues to drop, throw a little chunk more. If it continues to drop, throw a little chunk. And then eventually it's going to have that God candle right back up to where it was, and it's going to move right again. And so all your dips that you bought, eventually they're easily going to even themselves out until once new highs are cracked, which I think is inevitable because this bull run really hasn't even full out started yet, like the real momentum yet. So at this point in the cycle, don't be afraid to do that. I'd say if we're getting very late into it, to be buying certain dips, I'd be very careful. But like I said, because we're still fairly early, like you can't go wrong. I think in any coin, if you're buying at really any levels, you can't go wrong if you just wait 6 to 8 months, maybe 9 or 10 months from now. Well into 2025, like any solid coin with fundamentals, more than likely is going to pump, but it's just which coins are going to pump way harder than others. There's going to be some that only do maybe 3, 4, 5x versus some that do literal 25, 30, 40x's, But bottom line, that's what I got for you guys today. Just throwing some stuff together, just stuff I've seen in the market, and just random stuff. So take care. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.